Okay, welcome to Football Focus. Where do we begin? The Premiership is back. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit the subscribe button. As you can see in the corner, you'll see Arsenal Football Club. This is BWTM Sports. So, things to talk about. I haven't spoken much about football, but let's talk about it now. The Premiership is back. And obviously now at Arsenal Football Club, there's a new man that's in. His name is Unai Emery. And as you know, Arsene Wenger is no longer at Arsenal Football Club. If you had walked out of the stadium at the end of the match, you would have probably got half the stadium of Arsenal fans walking out saying, I can't tell the difference between this man and Emery. They probably would say that because they were just disappointed that their team lost against Man City. You know, in my estimation, as far as I'm concerned, I think Arsenal fans need to be patient. Arsenal fans are probably the most patient club in the country because they've been waiting for years for Arsene Wenger to deliver them a Champions League, which he never did. The best thing he could deliver was a Champions League final. And after that, after the Untouchables, well, it's been downhill ever since for Arsenal. The FA Cup was something that, it seemed to be a landmark for Arsenal coming forth. And the way I look at things is Arsene Wenger for many years did not invest. He invested very much in club finances and everything else, but did not invest in the club. There's an argument as to why he didn't invest, whatever. But at the end of the day, he didn't invest. It wasn't his policy to invest. It was in policy to bring in young players, in policy to bring in players that weren't good enough or, bargain bucket players. And then near the end of his reign, he started bringing in some players. But team morale, Arsenal was becoming more of an academy. Their best players, and I've said it this time and time again, their best players being shipped out as soon as they become close to superstars or world class, and then always left with also-rans. We've seen Henry leave the club and many others leave the club of Arsenal. And probably the only one so far that's left Arsenal in recent times has been Sanchez. And to be honest, many Arsenal fans were sick and tired of Sanchez. And against Man United now are having to deal with Sanchez. Anyway, so as I say, back to Arsenal fans, they need to be patient. Congratulations to Man City. There was no way I believed Arsenal would beat Man City. Man City have got, as far as I'm concerned, 22 players there or more that you could put on two. You could put out two sides. You could put A side and a B side out. I don't think the A side and the B side could win the Premiership. They're that strong at the moment. The Arsenal setup. No, sorry, the Man City setup. I wish Arsenal was that strong. But they've invested. They've invested over years. They've invested and invested and invested to the point where they've got world-class players coming off the field, world-class players going on the field, game changers coming off the field, game changers going on the field. So, Man City have done the right thing. When you look at Liverpool, they are going to be strong contenders, I believe, this year because, again, they've invested. They've waited, but they've waited for the players they want to get, and they've got them. And I think that, that is key. Man United look like they've got some problems this year under Mourinho. There's a bit of a dark cloud over Man United at the moment with Jose Mourinho. He's got a lot to prove now, whether he still is the man for the job. His face just may not fit, and he may just be past his sell-by date at that club. Talks of Pogba leaving the club and stuff. But anyway, let's talk Arsenal. I think Arsenal fans need to be they need to be patient. I think we haven't invested in the transfer market previously. We've started bringing players in now. And this manager needs time. This manager needs time to see whether his formation is going to work. I think he needs time to see if his system's going to work. But we know one thing he's going to do. He's going to build from the back. Something that Arsene Wenger, years and years and years, for whatever reason, didn't invest in. I like the keeper, Leno. Anyone who's watched me play Football Manager in the past knows that Leno's one of the players that I've always The goalkeepers I've always gone and bought. I think he's a top quality goalkeeper, probably a better goalkeeper in Football Manager in real life, but we'll have to wait and see about that. I was baffled, absolutely baffled, as to why Leno wasn't in goal and why Czech was in goal. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. It didn't make no sense to me. But the manager knows what he's doing. I think, for me, it'll take time. I think it'll take 10 games at least. If we get into a Champions League spot this season, I think it's very well done for the manager. But for me, if we can get into Europe, that's good enough. I think this year, get into Europe and build on players, and build on players. So keep in the January market. Let's see this manager invest in the transfer market again. Let's see if he invests in the transfer market and what he does, and whether Arsenal board will back him in the transfer market. Will the Arsenal board back Unai Emery when things are going well? He's got the first game against Man City. That was difficult. He's now got Chelsea, another team that have previously invested. So it will be interesting to see whether the manager is going to get the time. Wenger was given year after year after year.
Okay, welcome to Football Focus. Where do we begin? The Premiership is back. If you haven't subscribed already, please do hit the subscribe button. As you can see in the corner, you'll see Arsenal Football Club. This is BWTM Sport.
It's nice to know when you're live. Thank you very much, YouTube, for that. So, as I was saying, the board were very supportive and put up with Arsenal, or accepted or tolerant of Arsenal and his bizarre and almost suicidal tactics. And he just seemed like a dinosaur. He seemed like a guy that was at the club for way too long, well past his sell-by date. And I hope now that Arsenal can stick by their manager at least, for a few seasons. I hope, because for some stability. There must be a reason why they bought him into the club. So I think manager's got good pedigree. So his record is more impressive than Arsene Wenger's. So I think he's going to give him time. Whether the formation he plays with at the moment works in the Premiership, that remains to be seen. Whether the players that he's bought are going to be good enough for the Premiership, again, that remains to be seen. And even if they're good enough, whether they fit into his system, that remains to be seen. And Aubameyang and Lacazette, still how they're going to work in the system. There was talk of Aaron Ramsey leaving the club. Jack Wilshere's out the club now. One of the things that really, really disturbed me as an Arsenal supporter, or as a supporter of the England football team, for example, I think where are all the English players? It seemed like they was trying to get rid of all the English players. That's what it looked like to me. Callum Chambers out on loan, Wilshere out the door, Ramsey is in English. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how many English players are going to be playing in the Arsenal squad? And where's the next Arsenal superstar that's English going to play in the Premiership? No Walcott no more, no Chamberlain no more, no Wilshere no more. Chambers has gone to Fulham. So, where is the next Arsenal superstar or next Arsenal player who's going to play for England? Where's it coming from? This setup here, it looks all foreign players to me. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens now and what this manager's belief system is. Does he believe in the English system? He may feel, well, hey, we're not playing in Champions League football. We're not playing, so let us do what we're doing here. I don't know what this is. I don't know. But, I want to know where our English players are, the money we spent. Does he actually believe in English players, or does he believe that he has to go abroad to buy players? The other thing that concerns me about the Premiership, the return of the Premiership, the lack of English managers in the Premiership. All these managers are coming from abroad. I don't have a problem with that. But you're telling me there's nobody competent enough in the English setup, in the coaching systems, that can manage a Premiership side, that they all have to be foreign managers? I mean, I would like to see some England managers actually go and working abroad and being successful. We've seen a couple of guys go abroad and not being that successful, but then we've seen guys like Venables go abroad and do the business. So I'd like to see English managers going abroad, and I'd also like to see English players going abroad, and I'd also like to see some English players, English managers working at home, particularly in the Premiership. I'm not talking about the Championship or Division League One. In the Premiership. So it's something I want to see as well. It's very important. So, yeah, I'm patient. I'm not going to jump on this manager. I think, you know, if you're patient enough to put up with Wenger for the last X amount of years, then you should be patient enough to deal with Unai Emery. And let's see where it goes. I think I want to look at the team again after about 10 games. And see where we can start to see this team take shape. Whether the Arsenal, after 10 games, the manager should have an idea. And I'm not talking about friendly games. I'm talking about in the Premiership. 10 games. But 10 games might be too late. 10 games, you might be battling relegation. But 10 games, with the quality of players Arsenal do have, in Aubameyang, the striker, you know, in 10 games, I would think. But, you know, I don't just think it's about formation. I think it's about confidence. I think it's about building confidence. A lot of those players' confidence was shattered under Wenger, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, some of those players have had the, you know, had to deal with that era. So it's going to take some time, I think, for them to get out of that funk and play under Emery. So we'll see. Like I said, if Arsenal get themselves into Europe, top 6, I'm happy with that. They haven't invested. So what you pay for is what you get. And Man City have invested. Liverpool have invested. So I expect them to be really, really top contenders this year in the Premiership. I expect Man United to come 3rd or 4th this year. Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, no, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United, and then Arsenal. A couple of teams I do like. I like the look of West Ham. Again, they've invested, and I think in time that West Ham side may go on to be quite a decent side. But again, you've got a whole bunch of players coming in now. You need time to allow your team to settle and allow the manager as well to get time to, you know, work. So, you know, they've got a top quality manager there. And they've got some good players that that West Ham side. So I like the look of the West Ham side as well. Yeah, Wolves has got some very good quality players as well. I like some of the guys they've brought in at Wolves as well. Very nice. Again, it's going to take some of these top players some time to adjust, but I think once they get themselves settled in the Premiership, there'll probably be a few upsets as well. So bearing in mind all these teams that are now adjusting themselves, that have got new managers, that have got new players, that are playing in new systems, that they'll take time. So I expect this season to be pretty. I think the teams that have played together more and have you know, I've got a team that have played together like Man City. I think they're a very settled side. And they're just building on that. Liverpool, we've got some good players in. I think Liverpool are, you know, I think they definitely are going to be contenders this year for the Premiership. I just got a feeling this year it could be Liverpool's year. I really do. But we'll see. You know, you play a first game of the season, they look awesome against West Ham. But, you know, like I said, West Ham are a team that are under new management, and it's going to take time for the players to get the philosophy of the manager. I often wonder what it's like as a player to have turbulence aside. You know, you've got one manager one year, another manager next. You've got, you know, and then one manager wants you playing one way, another manager wants you playing something else. Imagine, you know, being at a club where you've had two managers within a year, and then you're an international player as well, and you've got two managers want you play two different ways, and then you've got to go and play for your country in a totally different system as well. Crazy. yeah, so those are my thoughts on Arsenal. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait, give it 10 games. But already, this man, Emery, I believe, has got a better CV than Arsene Wenger. Maybe not in England, but I think he's got a better CV. And I expect him. He looks like a man that's not going to do the same thing week in, week out. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to study his opponents. I think this guy is going to research. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to give it his all. So I've got a lot of faith in Unai Emery. Wenger was doing the same crap year in, year out. Unai Emery, I think, is going to be different. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. Check Bellerin, Mustafi, Monreal, Xhaka is the worst back six I've ever seen Arsenal have. Xhaka, defensive midfield, is horrendous. I think I don't know. Xhaka is a question mark, and Czech is a question mark as well. But I think this manager is going to work on defense. So they may look really terrible at the moment, but I think in time that back six may start actually playing better football. I really do believe that you've got to give a manager time to really work. So in 10 games time, I expect to see that defense playing better. I expect to see more players playing from the back and playing forward. So I expect to see a lot more of that. So, and I think the January window, like I said, is going to be key. So if Unai Emery, if he can get to the January market without suffering too many more defeats and can get on a bit of a winning run, it's going to be crucial what they invested in January. In January, it's going to give me an idea, and most of the fans an idea, what Arsenal are thinking. Are they looking for consolidation? Are they looking to push forward into the Europe, get into Europa? Or are they really looking to go into the Champions League? We're going to see. We're going to see. So I think a few games, a couple of wins on the bounce, teams start getting some flow, some confidence. You know, Aubameyang starts scoring goals. We'll see. Aslam Özil. Why that guy never got sold during the transfer window, I don't know. You sell Jack Wilshere, who had a decent season, and then you keep Ozil. I have no freaking idea why that guy's still at the club. I've got no idea. And if some Arsenal football supporters can explain to me why Ozil is still at the club, I've got no idea why Ozil's at the club. You know, I sat there watching Arsenal going to myself on Saturday on BT Sports. I sat there and watching. I was going to myself, I think it was BT Sports, or was it Sky Sports? One of the two. I was sitting there watching, and I thought to myself, we ain't going to win this game. We're not winning this game. Man City have spent so much money on their players. Man City have invested well. And this is something that over years they've invested, and spent money. And now they look up just such a powerful unit. And while they've been investing in players, we've been investing in whatever thing I thought we should invest in. So, right, I'm out of here. That's Football Focus for me. Those are my thoughts so far on Arsenal. How many English players are actually going to play for Arsenal this season? I'd be interested to know. And if so, which Arsenal players who would you buy for? If I were Arsenal manager, I would have brought in Harry Maguire. I would have brought in Harry Maguire from Leicester City. I believe the manager likes ball-playing defenders. I think Maguire's good enough for a ball-playing defender. English, strong, sturdy, looked pretty decent at the World Cup. Ozil is on 350,000. He's piss poor, never shows up for big games, ghost player. Sad, really sad. Okay, that's it. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave comments when I come back. I'll be doing a bumper sports special. See you when I get back.